Greetings, Neuse Little Pod listeners. This is your host, Matt Gore, reminding you to please like, follow, subscribe, and share the podcast on your available podcast apps such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and any other podcast app you can think of. Share our episodes on Facebook and let us know what you think with a comment or review. Now, please enjoy the show. Good evening and welcome to Neuse Little Podcast. This is an audio program talking about the backstage antics and stories of running a small town community theater on the banks of the Neuse River located in Smithfield, North Carolina. We lovingly refer to the old girl as the Hut. We hope you enjoy. Welcome to Neuse Little Podcast. We did just release an episode discussing our summer camp, Madagascar Junior with the kids. But we have like a little bonus episode for you to listen to. And it is going to be the announcement of our Cannon Award nominees. Now, the postcards have been sent out, so I think people know by this point. But just in case you don't, you can listen to this podcast and find out every nominee for every acting category. I'm not going to go down the list of technical awards because that would be kind of repetitive. So, in the interest of time, and because it's hot as hell up here, I am going to read out the nominees. Okay, we're going to start with cameo. Now, we only have 4 nominees for this category. In fact, Best Supporting Actress is the only category that has 5 nominees from all 5 shows. That's just how it works out sometimes, you know? Sometimes there's not a clear cameo role, and and it's up to the director's discretion. I know personally I didn't do a cameo this year because it just felt like I didn't have one that was a true cameo, that just kind of had a couple of scenes or just a moment here and there, and that's why there's only 4 in this category. So here we go. The nominees for Best Cameo are Kenny Howell as Candyman in Willy Wonka.
I feel like that should be the Candyman, but that's not how it was like.
This makes him feel
credited.
like the horror movie thing.
You should be saying his name in the mirror.
Kenny Howell as the Candyman, Willy Wonka. Okay, all right. Sheila Lane as Lucille Orton in the Charitable Sisterhood Christmas Spectacular. Kay Hewitt as Mary Meekley in Unnecessary Farce. And rounding out the category is Joyce Kilpatrick Jordan as Elizabeth in Angel Street. Moving on to Supporting Actor. We have Asher Saab as Charlie Bucket in Willy Wonka. Tyler Pinkowski as Jeffrey from The Lion in Winter. Larry Gray as Mayor Meekley, Unnecessary Farce. And Kirk Davidson as Inspector Ruff, Angel Street. Moving on to Supporting Actress. We have 5 women in this category. Usually it's Best Actress that is the most competitive category as far as acting roles go, but this year it looks like it's Best Supporting Actress. Let's read off the nominees. Abby Claire Donaldson as Veruca Salt in Willy Wonka. Nicole Braswell as Janet Murchison in the Charitable Sisterhood Christmas Spectacular. Abigail Jordan as Alice Caput in The Lion in Winter. Titania Ruffino as Billy Dwyer in Unnecessary Farce. And Mariana Morin as Nancy in Angel Street. Now, that is a tough category. Mm-hmm. Yep, a lot of good performances. And these are all good performances, do not get me wrong, but that particular category is stacked.
Yeah, I was going to say, sometimes you're like going, oh, I kind of know who's going to win in that category. And sometimes I'm surprised even when I think it's a shoe-in for somebody. Mm-hmm. But there's always that one category every year that's just, it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight till the end for these folks because they were just all brilliant across the board.
Absolutely. I was telling Tamara that, yeah, you're right. Like, most years you kind of have an outside idea of what might happen.
Right.
There's surprises every single year. There was a surprise last year. But this year, I'm not sure.
No, I was looking at all of them on the list, and I was like, I got nothing. I don't even know how to like put my finger on the pulse of who Sometimes you can kind of feel it, how the audiences went and stuff like that. But this year, it's like it was pretty solid all the way across.
Right, like every single show had a different. Obviously, there's different shows, different reactions, but it all felt very strong, and it kind of seems like it could go one way or the other. Either Willy Wonka's going to start racking up the awards or not, and I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know which way that's going to go. So I'm really interested to see what happens at the Cannon Award ceremony on July 21st.
And there used to be a time when the musical almost always won.
Right.
But now that we've gone with the audience, we have the Cannon Committee voting, not the board voting. With the audience voting, it's not always the musical. In fact, it's almost rarely the musical that pulls it out in the end for a lot, for the bulk of the show. But sometimes it does. It's more fair and it's nice.
Yes. I think I have some knowledge of other theater groups and their award ceremonies and the process in which they choose acting awards, and some are well thought out and some are stupid. But honestly, ours is pretty fair. I don't know how you can... Nothing's 100% in this world, but I don't see how we could be more fair. We have an independent committee. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, because when I first started with the theater, the board made the decision, and we did it at the end of the year. And it was, what show could I remember the best? Or
Right.
what was I in, almost. So we decided that wasn't really fair. So that's when we got the Cannon Committee. And there's only one person who knows who's on the committee, who are the committee members. And they don't even know who each other are, and it's not the same people every year. So it gets changed up every year. So if you're asked to be a Cannon Committee member, we would really love it if you would step up and
Yes.
and serve. It's only for a year. You just have to come to every show and vote for every show.
Can you be in other shows?
No, you
Yeah.
cannot be in a show and be on the Cannon Committee.
Right.
You probably can't be related to somebody who's going to be in shows. So if you've got a family member who you know is probably going to be in a show at some point during the season, you probably won't get asked because you're going to be biased. But
Right.
but they usually are pulled from our longtime membership, and it's usually people who come to see the shows but really have nothing else to do with productions. So they're very unbiased as to, they're just looking at the acting and the performances.
Right.
So.
And it's not even like you compare it to another performance.
Exactly.
You just mark it from a scale of 1 to 10 and do an average, right?
It's not, at the end of the year, we don't give you the shows and say, vote for what your favorite was. So
Right.
you can go, oh, well, I remember this one, or
because
I liked
then
this
the musical
one.
would win every year.
Right.
Whatever show had the biggest cast.
Probably, yeah. And, but what we do is, I've explained this several times, but you would get your ballot in the mail before the show with the nominations on it. About a week before the show opens, you'd come to see the show, and then you would go home and you would vote. You would give it a numerical score, and then you mail it in after you vote. So it's like immediately you send in your vote. There's no changing it later. It's what you saw on stage and what you deemed it to be worth. And at the end of the season, she opens up all of the envelopes and does averages, and the highest average wins the award. So everybody votes for what they saw on stage the night they came.
Right.
Instead of coming to the end of the year and going, well, I liked this person better than this person, but I really like this show better, so I'm going to go with this show. But I've already voted for this show 3 times, so I'm going to vote for this
Right.
one instead. And
Yeah. Yeah. And it's all kept pretty well secret. Even I host part of the Cannons, the acting part, and I have no idea who's going to win.
I don't have any idea. It's kept secret from me. The person who is the Cannon Committee person is the one who does the calculation of the votes. She orders the awards. She puts the covers over them, and they are delivered to the award ceremony, and nobody knows but her, and she's not even in town when we do the ceremony.
There you go, folks. I don't know what more we could do to keep it as unbiased as possible. And even then, if you get too close to the awards, Stephen will give you the evil eye.
And I don't peek because I have to do the tech awards and I have to do the specialty awards and things like that. I like for there to be a little bit of me not knowing what's going on too, because I like to have a little surprise. And the acting awards are fun because I'm like, it's going to go to so-and-so. I'm like, oh, okay. Didn't see that one coming out of left field. That was great.
Yep.
So.
All right. The leading actor and leading actress categories are next. I'm sure those of you who think you're nominated are tired of listening to us talk and want to hear the nominees. So here we go. Without further ado, This is leading actor, and there are 4 people in this category, starting with Daniel E.D. Brown as Willy Wonka in Willy Wonka. Tony Pinder as King Henry II in The Lion in Winter. Keith Allen Davis as Eric Sheridan in An Unnecessary Farce. And Larry Gray as Mr. Manningham in Angel Street. Another tough category. And rounding out the Cannon nominees is leading actress. And at first glance, this is also hard. They're all hard category. It's
a tough year.
It is a tough year, and it also in the last 10 years or so post, I would say even more so post COVID, these things get hard to win. There's like old people that have been here for years that like rack up like 7 and 8. They're tough. It ain't that easy anymore. All right, so leading actress is Emily Snow as Tina Yates in the Charitable Sisterhood Christmas Spectacular. Kathy Nixon as Queen Eleanor in The Lion in Winter. Julia Kapke as Karen Brown, Unnecessary Farce. And Teresa Rose as Mrs. Manningham, Angel Street. There was no leading actress in Willy Wonka, so the director chose not to nominate anybody. So I think that's impartial. That's pretty fair, I think.
Right, and then there were no men in Charitable Sisterhood.
Right, no men. So, right. Yes. So everybody except supporting actress has a 1 in 4 shot.
25%, baby.
That's better than 1 in 5. So if you're a part of a show or involved in the show, or the parents of somebody involved in the show, we look forward to seeing you at the Cannons at JCC on July 21st. It's always a good time. We switched venues this year for, reasons. But we are very much looking forward to bringing it back to JCC in the lobby there. It should be interesting. They've updated a lot of stuff there, so we get to use all their bells and whistles.
Oh, yeah.
And I hear we have an inn there now, so thank you for that.
Yeah, we'll be in the lobby at the auditorium at the Johnson Community College, and I don't have to trudge projector, screen, sound system, all of that, because it's apparently you can just plug into the wall, boom, it's on the screens in the lobby. So
this tells me, like, when I arrive at the ceremony a little earlier to help set up, that Mia is going to be like frantic and trying to get everything ready. So
I'm gonna be going, Sean.
Stay away from Mita pre-show.
No, but I'm looking forward to it. And I mean, every time we used to do it out at the college a lot before we moved to the vineyard. But the vineyard sort of, at one time, the lobby was too big for us. But they've done a lot of, and it's still the same size, but they've done a lot of renovations. There's a catering kitchen now. There's, so there's a lot more, it's more conducive to doing events now than it was back in the day. So we're excited to go back out there. Plus, our first show of the season is going to be out there. So they kind of want to tie that in. So hopefully, you get to see where we're going to be doing it, where and the auditions are Monday and Tuesday after the Cannons. So you'll get to see the space, and kind of, if you're coming, to the Cannons, you can kind of see it ahead of time, see what it'll look like when you come in. After
we get done doing our 49th season, we get a chance to take exactly one breath before we jump into the 50th season. And it's going to be big, folks. It's going to be big, because
you have no idea how mind carton wheeled I am right now, because I'm trying to do the Cannon Awards for the 49th, but I'm also trying to do the promotions for the 50th at the same time. So I'm always going to the wrong place in the computer to pull the stuff I need. I'm like, oh crap, no, that was last season, so I need to go there. And then I'll do something, I'll go like, oh no, I gotta go to the 50th, I gotta go there. So I'm trying to pull pictures, and it's in the wrong part of the computer.
Well, let me speak for everyone when I say thank you for doing that. Mita, you do a lot here, and without you, we'd be kind of screwed. I'm not even going to lie.
And I have updated the website a little bit. So there's pictures from Lion in Winter and Angel Street. I need to add some more from Willy Wonka, but those have been added, and some older pictures are going to go up eventually when we have them, and I have the time. It just takes a while for them to upload. And I've added some events, so audition information, show stuff. I haven't got all the way through the 50th season on the calendar, but I'm getting there. So all of that's been updated. So if you haven't checked out our brand new website,
Please do.
Please do.
www.nooselittletheater.org.
It's fancy.
Yes.
And I did not design it. That would be Miss Gwen Robertson who did that for us.
Thank you to Gwen. She did a great job on it.
And she's very nice. So when I email her and go, I forgot how to do this, she goes, you just do this, this, and this. And I'm like, okay.
Right. That's like Ava showing me how to do Instagram.
Exactly.
Right. She's very patient with me. All right, gang. It's hot up here. It's summer. You know the drill. It's in North Carolina in the summer, so it's going to be hot and sticky everywhere. So we're going to go ahead and put a pin in this one. Thank you, Mita, for coming down here on a hot day and and setting up so we could do the podcast. Thank you very much for that. And if you have not received your postcard for the invite to the Cannons, and you participated in a show, or
you're part of a membership,
or the parents of somebody that participated in the show, check your mailbox. They're gonna be there. Please,
fingers crossed. But if you have not heard in the next, before July 12th, I think is the cutoff day for RSVPs. If you haven't heard by then, you haven't gotten your postcard in, reach out to somebody and say, I haven't gotten my postcard, because sometimes the post office does lose things. So we do want to make sure that you are aware of what you need to do in order to come.
And please RSVP, or Nancy will scowl at you. She will get up there at the very end of the show, and if a lot of people showed up at the last minute, she will have something to say about it. I look forward to it every year.
And we are in a new space, and so we need to make sure we have enough tables and chairs for everybody. We need to make sure we have food for everybody.
Don't make us charge you if you don't RSVP. Nancy had the idea, like, if you don't RSVP, it's $10, and I thought that was a fantastic idea. So just do us all a favor, RSVP. just do it, please. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to be one of those theaters who, and if that's the way you have to pay for it, that's the way you have to pay for it. But I don't want to charge people to come to the Cannons. I like the fact that we do it as a big thank you at the end of the year. But if we don't have people RSVPing, so we know you're coming, we're going to maybe have to start selling tickets so that we know how many people are coming.
It's not too much to ask for us to have a head count. Help us help you, please. All right. That's it. We'll also have technical awards, best sound, best set, best lighting, best direction, best special effects. We'll have all those. Best show at the very end, and we'll have some laughs along the way. We'll have a preview for next year. We'll have a retrospective of the 49th season. It's a good time. It's one of my favorite days of the year.
I'm not sure. We're still in discussion as to whether or not there will be wine sold.
Right.
But there will not be a repeat of the goat wine this year.
No, yes. Listen. And if any of my presenters are listening, our presenters are usually, unless they can't make it, are usually the people that won the previous year. And I need you to hold it. If we have wine, I need you to hold it together until we get to the categories. Afterwards, you can do whatever the hell you want. I don't care. But if you can't say the name James, I'm going to have to go with somebody else. I'm going to have to pull an audible and switch it out. So please, if you choose to imbibe in spirits that we may or may not have, and you are a presenter, keep it in check until you present the award, okay?
Trust me, I started that baby, and I was like, I stood up. I felt great, and I stood up, and I went, yeah, that last glass was a bad idea.
And I usually because I get a little nervous because I kind of, not everything's planned out. Some things are off the cuff, and I'll have a glass of wine beforehand, and I chose not to have the goat wine, and I thought that was probably my saving grace because everybody else was plastered, and we were trying to hold it together at the end.
It was because they were out of the wine most people bought usually. Mm-hmm. So they said, no, this is the next best thing. This is basically the same thing, except it's infused with brandy. So we're like, sure, we'll do that. Well, it was 2 drinks compared to the one we used to have.
Everybody's doubled up.
Yeah, and so it was just and I can usually get through the number of drinks I had, which is not a full bottle, but, 2/3, 3/4.
It's a long event.
And I get up to do my spiel, and I'm fine. But I got up, and I stood there, and I was like, yeah, I'm old enough to know that last little half a glass was a bad idea. Yeah. I held it together. I was fine, but it was tough. If I had tried to chug the rest of it, I would have been in trouble.
Beware the goat wine.
Beware the goat wine.
All right. Okay, gang. Thanks for listening. We'll have more content for you probably starting when we start rehearsals for Wizard of Oz. So I'm thinking August, September, we'll have a new episode. We'll take July off, number one, because it's hot. Number two, because we don't want to force content on you. We only want to do the podcast when we have something to say. And if something comes up, we'll do one. But unless something comes up, we'll probably hold off until August, September for our next episode, where we'll dive into the huge colossus that is the Wizard of Oz.
We'll have to have like 4 or 5 podcasts for that one.
Yeah, part one. We'll have to do just one episode on the whirlwind that I keep hearing about.
It'll be interesting to see how that works.
I would like to see that work. No, I have all faith in Greg. Greg pulls off amazing stuff all the time. But if he can pull it off, this will be his
coup de grace.
Yeah, his crowning achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it in small form. I've not seen it in the big form.
Right.
However, if people have ideas of what you'd like to hear, give us shoot an email to us and let us know, because, what we do is what we know to do. So we would love to hear if other people have ideas of what you'd like for us to delve into. If you want us to do, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something. Discuss scripts or discuss shows we're going to see or whatever.
If you have a script that you like and you want to come talk, I'm going to cut that out. All right. For Neuse Little Podcast, I am Matt Gore, and that is my producer, Toole.
So,
we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Credits for the show. Your host and creator is Matt Gore. That's me. My producer and editor is Toole.
That's me.
Music is by Cody Walker. Please go look up Cody on Cody Walker Music on YouTube, and he's also on Cody Walker Music on Facebook as well. He's local, so and he's got a couple of albums out. Easy listening, John Denver type of guitar voice. That Cody Walker. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.